Let's do it. Let's do an art talk. Today is June 27th. Now, D-Day landing was what, June? Tuesday, June 6th, 1944. Let's see, I'm going to look up Time Magazine here because I have what we're going to talk about today is War Never Changes. It's this painting I did, and I'll show it to you in a second. But we're going to get into my personal relationship with military people, because it just doesn't seem to hit home yet. It does, I don't like being ignored. I don't like being pushed aside. I don't appreciate the treatment that I've had by the military-industrial complex, let's put it like that, and by stupid people who deal with abstractionisms and think that because they have a university education and that they exist in a position of power within organizations, that they get to tell me no. Well, I tell you, you have no idea what I've done for other people. And so that's why I identify a lot with veterans and military people, because I wore this shirt, and it means something to me, and it means something to other people. And I get this interpretation, and again, I'm very defensive. I'm very quick to defense, high alertness, a lot more these days, because I don't feel like I'm getting the respect that I deserve. And I know there's a lot of people out there that identify with that. So earlier today, I went to I went for a walk. I did another video for Instagram, and I visited behind Parkwood. Now, Parkwood is the Veterans Hospital here in London. And when I was young in my teens, right, that's what we would do. And if I didn't mention this before, I'll say this now. That after Remembrance Day, we would go to Parkwood, our squadron, and we would sit with veterans from the Second World War in Korea and other conflicts. So if you're watching this, go ahead, look up Parkwood Hospital here in London, Ontario. As far as I remember, it was constructed just after the Second World War to deal with all of the veterans. So, my namesake, right? My middle name is Edwin, and it's right here. It's on my high school diploma. It's on my college diploma for aircraft structures. And I'll bring that down here so you can observe this for real. Okay. Here's one. And here's the other. In the back of this, okay, now CCH is a prep school for Ivy League universities. And this is, well, that's the diploma certificate. I was going to pull out the Ontario Scholar, because that's significant. You can't. A lot of people think that just because you went to high school and or that you're preoccupied with your high school years, that you have this inability to move on. And perhaps I do. Perhaps I'm stuck in this nostalgia of years where things were more organized and constructed and a little bit easier. But they weren't easier. You know? It wasn't any easier for the greatest generation, where the people of my grandparents' generation, to pick up, to leave everything they know behind, jump onto a ship, go across the North Atlantic, dodge U-boats, or to get onto a ship and go to Malta, or to Egypt, Morocco, Algiers, Sicily, and Italy, or to Arnhem, Operation Market Garden. The For Whom the Bell Tolls, and so on and so forth. A Bridge Too Far. It was written by Cornelius Ryan. I read that when I was a teenager. My father had a copy. So I want to show you something. Again, I don't know very much about my godfather. I remember going to his funeral in my cadet uniform. And, I gave him a salute. And that was the end of it. So everybody knows war medals, right? So this is the Italy campaign. I will at some point go through this and track down where he actually went. I gotta look this up, but let's get the other ones. Just give me a second here. So this one's the defense medal. This one here. And this one is the 39 to 45 war medal. As an anecdote, I wore these to a D-Day ceremony when we were on parade here one year. And my warrant gave me shit for it. It was under my long coat or whatever it was. As far as I'm concerned, you're supposed to wear these medals as a family member on Remembrance Day. Because you know what, these people, they didn't fight for the bullshit that we have to deal with at this moment in time. So here it is, Northern Ireland, E.T. Morrison. His name was Eddie. Esquire, 50 Railway Road, Coleraine, Derry, Northern Ireland. So I'm going to look up Derry here for a second. So I didn't really ever do this. Londonderry. And maybe I should go back here. So we're talking west of Belfast. And get this, it's pretty close to Letterkenny. Believe it or not. If that's not some freaky shit, I don't know what is. But again, before the influx, if we're going to politicize things here, you know, obviously, okay, India, Ireland, sharing the same colors on the flag, right? And then the Indian symbology in the center is the Wheel of Time or whatever it is. This image was in Time magazine. Right? I painted this in 2010 or 2011. No, 2010. I was in a very low point of my life. I really was. And let's put it in the background. Actually, we'll just take this down, or you know, look at the expression on his face. You believe this is a 13-year-old painting? Now the colors, this is one of two portraits I did within the same short period of time. And the other one I did was Red Hawk, which is a portrait of a native chief wearing his headdress, a medallion, and a white armband. And the colors that I chose for this were part of an exhibition at the Tom Thompson Gallery in Owen Sound. There was a piece of art there along with the portrait of the native man, the chief. And so that's what I'm looking at right here is you know, obviously the influences of it. Now I offered this to a veteran and a reservist. She was on staff with me, and she participated and assisted in the painting of the backdrop for Sunset Parade at Borden in 2004. Now I might have talked about that already, but it was the anniversary of Vimy and of the D-Day landing. So there's always that question, like, what are we fighting for? You know, I know what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for the opportunity for my children to live a better life than I have. You don't know what I've done for other people. It's just like anyone who's had to kill someone. I haven't done that, as far as I know. Scary, isn't it? You know, and again, this is why I'm so adamant because of supporting this this campaign at this very moment. Especially after coming back from my own downward spiral, because when you think about paratroopers, this would have been what? Let's look up the airborne regiments of the United States. So you got 11th, 13th, 17th, 82nd, and 101st. So the two original ones being 23rd of September, 1921. That's the 82nd. The 10th of September, 1921. Now I thought about it, when I was in cadets. There's that opportunity, well, because the Army cadets have the chance to go through paratrooper school here in Canada, and they're in their drop wings. I thought about it. I was like, because I was encountering a lot of resistance from the squadron and from my officers. Maybe I should have done that instead. Every time I tried to go for power or glider, the door closed in my face. But I kept trying. Now, when I look at this this image here, he's got that Mona Lisa smile. You can't exactly understand his emotion, and it's green, because green is anxiety to me. That anticipation of never knowing if and when you're going to hit the ground, and if you're going to hit the ground running, if you're going to make it there in the first place. Because every mission in war is a suicide mission. Courage in the face of death. Right? What I see in this young man. Because again, a lot of the people that went over were my age in cadets, 17, 18, 19 years old in the infantry. And that's what people in this moment, in 2023, and especially bleeding heart individuals who don't understand the implications of gun control, or of too liberal a society with too much inflation and too many drugs, too much hedonism, right? Because these people went through absolute hell. They did. I talked to them, I was there sitting beside them. If they didn't want to talk, they didn't want to talk. You just sit there with them. I was there at the opening of the Spooner Memorial here in London. Now, LAC Spooner leading, LAC Spooner. It's at the 427 Squadron Association here. Leading Airman Kenneth Gerald Spooner, May 14th, 1943. So he was is awarded the George Cross for conspicuous gallantry in carrying out hazardous work in a very brave manner. He was born in May 24th, 1922, and enlisted July 31st, 1942. So 20 years old, you know. George Cross to LAC Kenneth Gerald Spooner of Smith Falls, Ontario, a student navigator with no pilot training, took over the controls of a training aircraft when the pilot fainted and kept the plane at a safe height until members of the crew could bail out. Shortly after, the aircraft crashed, killing both Spooner and the unconscious pilot. You see, people die in training frequently, especially in times like that, and hence my concern. You know, when I, especially since 2018, you know, aircraft in the forces have been suffering numerous incidents, and I referenced the recent death of the two pilots, one from Woodstock. Let's see, I need to look this up again. The two pilots, Captain David Domegala, 32, and Captain Marc LaRouche, 53. Captain LaRouche from Amos, Quebec. And Captain Domegala, originally of Woodstock. Considering the culture at this time and reflecting upon North America in, say, 1923, a lot happens in 100 years. A lot of things change, a lot of things don't. So what more can I say? War never changes. It's especially when you consider the implications and the behind the scenes motivations for the First and Second World War, you know, the causes of them. The most intelligent thing you can do is to not go to wars, not get into a conflict. And war is a blood sacrifice for people that don't care about you, that don't know you, and don't understand what it is to be in service. So that's why I take the quote from Fallout, because, you know, Oppenheimer says, or said in this book. World War III will be fought with nuclear arms, but the next war after will be fought with sticks and stones. So I'll put this up here. You can have a look at it. I'll just hold it here again. It's on my Instagram. Or it wasn't in Time magazine, it was in Life magazine. And looking back at it now, I don't remember how I painted this. I didn't take pictures. It was flow state, as you might say. Trying to pick up the pieces of the night in the bleeding dawn. So let's not forget, eh? War doesn't end when we go home. That's the message from the art, or what I hear from veterans. Like, you have to make your life count somehow. And not get preoccupied with stupid people and those who don't understand. I try not to say these things out of patriotism or a corruption of my beliefs and values, but because of my passions for art and for aviation. And there's neither of those things without people. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.